in order not to play sharp at the top, you end up pulling all the way out, which means you play very, very flat at the bottom. So what you need to do Hi, welcome along to the vlog. Today I want to go over something that I get asked a lot about, which is to give feedback on people's playing. And I feel really honoured that you guys want to send me playing to critique, but I don't feel comfortable doing it over YouTube. I just feel that doing it blindly on YouTube is not the best place to do it. I'm also acutely aware of how I feel about my photography. I've said this before in other vlogs like this one here. I take photographs because I love doing it. I really, really enjoy doing it. I'm an amateur at it. I don't mind a little bit of critique on my photography, but actually what I'd like to do is to pick things up. And Peter McKinnon, and if you've not heard of Pete, he is a phenomenal YouTuber. He really has raised the bar when it comes to vlogs or cinematography on YouTube. Check him out. I mean, I'll link to below, but here's one of his videos here. And he released a video yesterday, and I've just been watching it, and he said he was a terrible photographer. And I thought, do you know what, this is a great way in to answer so many of these questions about critiquing people's performances, videos and things like that. And that is to tell you about what a bad saxophone player I was 15 years ago, and to almost tell you how I've developed, what I've done to improve, and kind of hopefully you can all learn lessons. Before I start, I wanted to read this bit from Tribe of Mentors. It's an interview with Maria Sharapova, the tennis player. And she said, "In my profession, losses are often seen as failures, but internally, losing sets you up for winning. Losing makes you think in ways that victories can't. You begin asking questions instead of feeling like you have the answers." You begin asking questions instead of feeling like you have the answers. So here's a video of me and Glenn Reedy, Chris Hargreaves playing. It's, I think, June 1999. By this point, I've been playing professionally for a year. I'm on the Yanagasawa soprano, and it's Funny Valentine, so let me just critique a little bit of it. Okay, split the first note, that's not a very good start. Soprano, that low D is difficult. So I've definitely got an embouchure problem going on here. If you find yourself doing that, look at that. I did an exercise for Cambridge Saxophone last week about the pencil trick. You've probably seen it on YouTube anyway. But I'm probably not playing with the embouchure back enough here. My lower lip, I'll be looking at my chin position, and of course, the great old chestnut, low notes, long note practice, long tones, long tones, long tones. It's also a little flat at the bottom. That's a common problem with the saxophone. In order not to play sharp at the top, you end up pulling all the way out, which means you play very, very flat at the bottom. So what you need to do is obviously be able to lower at the bottom so that you can play, you're not kind of playing sharp at the top, but so that you're actually in tune in the lower register as well, and especially on soprano. I mean, I've got to, I've got to be kind to myself here. I've only been playing soprano at this point for about 18 months, and I would say it takes at least 5 years, if not longer, to be able to get a reasonable sound on the soprano. It's the most difficult saxophone to get a good sound out of. Also, I'm trying to work out why the bass player is the other side of the stage from where the drummer and I are. Maybe we need to keep him quiet. Okay, there's no sense of an idea. I needed to maybe create a motif, create a lick, some sort of melodic idea, and then develop it. I mean, when I'm teaching students grade 5 theory, we're often kind of like, you get given like the first 3 bars. Bar 4 needs to be like bar 1, okay? It needs to kind of have some kind of, sorry, bar 5 needs to be like bar 1. Bar 3 needs to have something going on that's similar to bar 1, maybe a step higher. Use sequential development. You play the same idea and then play, up or down a tone. Wrong note there. Waggled my fingers to get through a 2-5. Let's learn some 2-5 licks. Positive. One of the things I've often talked to students about is the positions of your shoulders. Okay, making sure you're breathing from the diaphragm. My shoulders are nice and still. If I show you very quickly a video from about a year before this. one thing you'll see that I'm playing with a double embouchure at that point. I went through a phase of playing with double embouchure basically because I saw Bramford and a few others doing it. I had a nose operation done, which I'll talk about in another vlog. It wasn't cosmetic, it was because I'd broken it so many times playing cricket and football. But I just wasn't able to play with double embouchure anymore. I have to basically I had to teach myself to play the Allard method. I mean, to be fair, on this video I'm not doing too bad. It's not maybe the one I was looking for. I mean, there's a lot of pentatonics involved in my solo there. I'm improvising all of it. That was kind of the big difference. You know, that's why I got into playing jazz, was that I had the ability to be able to play what I wanted, which I wouldn't have to do what you were telling me to do. So the sax is actually sharp there. It definitely is sharp at the top. I've also got there's some really funny notes going on there. Over articulating, needs to be softer articulation, like think of that scat singing articulation. Okay, I didn't do it in that one anyway. Okay, let's move on a few years. Let's go to 2002. Okay, first thing I'll be critiquing myself is that I'm still looking for lead sheets. I mean, it's moaning. It's not a difficult track to know. You should really know this. Over-articulating those G's. Ba, ba, na, na. No, need to do ba. Again, I needed to listen more to the recording to understand how that should be phrased. So this is the opening track from my very first ever CD called Question 21. Don't ask me why it was called Question 21. I was trying to be clever and different. We recorded this in a studio in Blackpool. It's got Chris Hargreaves, who's now a very, very accomplished bass guitar player with Submotion Orchestra and a few others. Jason Walsh on keyboards. Glenn Reedy is a professional drummer. So all three of us, all four of us I should say, have become professional musicians, which is a pretty good turnaround for four guys from Blackpool. Well, Fleetwood and Thornton and Poulton. So anyway, here's this track. I wrote this. It's called Staying Loose, and I just want to, this is kind of, where are we talking now? This was about 8 months after the last video you saw. Again, a little bit of a squeak there. It's kind of that embouchure position. Some intonation issues going on there. Articulation's better. So this is Nostalgia in Times Square with Ray Wilkes on the other sax. It's a live recording. It's not a great quality recording. Can you hear that machine gun kind of style tonguing going on? It's all 2/5s down there. I mean, let me pop a read on. Hopefully, maybe you'll hear how things flow together. And to kind of bring it to a conclusion in this sort of area of the vlog, number one, there's no easy fix. That is now 15 years ago, and that's 15 extra years of practice. That's pre-New York. For me, that New York moment was an absolute watershed moment in my life. We didn't have YouTube, we didn't have the internet. I could only compare myself against the people I was around, and for my age, I was a lot better than all the other players in my area. But when I got to New York, and then when I came to London, I realised that there were people there who had more talent than me, who had worked harder than me, who had practiced, who had done the homework. Now, I had the belief that I could do things. I would have been someone who would have put stuff up on YouTube all those years ago. A lot of nasty comments, as we still get today, probably less than I get now because I wasn't as successful as I have been. And now the great thing is now, today, you don't have to go to New York and listen. I mean, it would be great if you did, but I mean, I'll point a link to the Smalls live stream below. That's a great way to do it. We now have unlimited access almost to so many recordings, and I was talking about, and I'm preaching time and time again about the importance of learning off recordings, about transcribing. And I'd say that's kind of one of the big differences that's happened in my playing, is when I really started to dedicate myself to transcribing. This is a piece I composed on the way back from New York on the plane. You can get this one on Bandcamp if you hit my link below. And sort of move forward a little bit. Now, I've improved there. I mean, I think there's been a step forward. But I want to just then play something from 2007. The articulation's got better, it's much more jazz. It's still a little bit untidy. I mean, this is basically a minor blues. That's it. So to summarize, 1, it will never just happen. You have to put the work in. Long tones are really important, embouchure. Number 2, technical exercises. One of the big things that I've improved there is the execution of technical things, and that's scales. Okay, scales, learning scales, different things, playing along with a metronome at 60. It's all the basic stuff. Number 3, ultimately, it's getting inspired and getting teachers to show you stuff. I mean, in those gaps, I can tell you about certain things that Bramford's told me to do, that Mike Horton told me to do, that Tony Woods told me to do, that Dave O'Higgins has told me to do. All those guys, Frank Griffith, all those people I've studied with in that intervening period have all left a little stamp on my playing and put their little, you know, Bob Mintz talked about the stew, didn't he? And I've said about that, you know, but they've all put their little ingredient into my stew and to help it along. If you want to get better, you've got to keep working at it, and I will keep working at it, and there is the improvement. It doesn't happen overnight. It is not easy to a certain extent. It takes a long time, but have a long-term view. That's why I've said in other videos, you know, have a dream goal, have a 10-year goal, have a 5-year goal, which feeds into the 10-year, 2-year, 1 year, 6 months, 3 months, a month, a week. Don't forget, if you fancy picking up a DansVlog polo shirt, you can head to the website below, and of course the coffee with Dan mugs are still available as well. Thank you so much for watching. This is what I was up to yesterday. This is what I was up to this time last year. Please hit that subscribe button. It makes such a difference. I can't believe we're nearly at 5,000. There's going to be a very special giveaway for my 5,000 subscriber. I haven't just quite decided what it will be yet, but there will be one. Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye bye.